Hello, and welcome to another Performance Architects How-To. Performance Architects is a business and technology consulting company that helps companies initiate and sustain big changes in their performance management and business intelligence environments and process. This video, along with others on our channel, should help provide some additional insight as you embark on or continue along your EPM and BI journey. Head over to our channel after this video or come back in the future to learn best practices, hear overviews, and take part in lessons we have designed to help you. We are focused on continuing to develop this community, and we welcome any recommendations you might have for future content. Thanks and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Performance Architects How-To. My name is Shane, and in this how-to I'm going to discuss a little bit about budgeting and forecasting. This is going to be part of a multi-part discussion, and in this first part, I'm basically going to discuss more of an overview of budgeting. Now, let's first compare budgeting and forecasting. What is budgeting? Budgeting is actually planning, but it's done relatively infrequently, often really once per year. A budget is really an expression, a financial expression of what your intentions are. It is really laying out the course you're planning to take and your desired destination. Whereas forecasting is much more where you're actually going. And this is based on analysis and observations of what's really happening out there in the business, and what are the conditions that you're working around. So forecasts are often much more real time. They're prepared much more frequently, redone, readjusted, often done monthly, to incorporate new information into them. Now, the purpose of budgeting, there can be many purposes. One of these, a very big one, is to plan for capital expenditures. Now, these items typically utilize a much longer planning horizon. They're big ticket items, and it's important to be able to determine what are the priorities and importance of the projects being looked at. And after these decisions are made, then actually translating those priorities into a budget plan is a very important part to actually bringing these to reality. And part of management's task in budgeting is to translate business plans and goals into actually operating budgets. So an example of this can be, say that a business is looking to add a new product line or expand an existing one. So budgeting will help to plan all of the necessary things, as far as expenses and costs associated with doing such an endeavor. Translating business performance targets into operational targets is also an important function of budgeting. So take an example of a printing company that management might set a target cost of goods sold, and then push that down to the business unit level, where they can set specific targets to gauge what a specific expense within that's going to be. Say the printing expense, which is going to be a function of the number of subscribers. So they can determine that such a printing expense should be X amount per subscriber. So this is an example of how these targets can get translated into operational plans. Finally, business unit risk thresholds are an important part of the budgeting process. Management will be able to determine what is their ultimate risk appetite and translate that into a plan. So for an example of this, it can be management determining that they want to restrain employee turnover to a certain percentage each year. And to actually translate this into a budget, budgeting, salary, compensation, incentive structures. These things can be fine-tuned in the budget plan to actually ensure that the that the metric falls within a specified parameter. Now, an effective budgeting and planning process really is a top-down and a bottom-up process. So really a circular process. As I mentioned before, the strategic plans are often formulated by the top-level management, and many companies really in practice actually start their budget process with using a prior year actuals data. But really, this is an overly simplistic way of thinking about this, and there's many more things that go into to projecting what plans are going to be needed. So, as we mentioned before, the strategic plans are important, and the targets, and these things are determined by the management, and then they're pushed down to the finance department and business units to actually lay out the more detailed plans based on their drivers and the scenarios that they have that they're using to plan. And some of these things that are performance based metrics that management is going to look at include, as I said before, planned new initiatives, expected growth in resources, things of this nature are going to help guide the high level decisions. After the detailed plans are created, then the plans can get pushed back up the chain to finance, where assumptions can be looked at, assessed, and then finally these can go back to the top level management for the final analysis and approval. So this brings this portion of the discussion to a close. In follow-up discussions, we will be discussing actually creating a pro forma budget for an income statement or a balance sheet, and following that, some forecasting planning techniques that can be used. So thank you for joining, and please visit our Performance Architects How-To channel for other videos in enterprise performance management and business intelligence solutions.